doing this every week, at least once a week, because it's fluid. And Dak Prescott went the hell off last night against the Eagles. It just seems as if the Cowboys are unbeatable in Dallas. 13 games in a row now in Dallas. Dak looked like somebody we hadn't seen before. And I should.
Well, he's been like that for the last like 6 weeks.
Does it pain you to say that, Brad?
No. So
Brad's gonna throw up after we go off air.
What did I say though? I said that the Cowboys hadn't played anybody that I've been impressed with. So they were supposed to kick the asses of all these other teams that they played because they've been given like a cush schedule. And now, yeah, I mean, hey, listen, it beat the shit out of the Eagles, and Dak looked pretty damn good.
He did look pretty damn good.
The thing is can they sustain that, because their schedule isn't going to be good, isn't going to be nice to them either. They got some pretty challenging games coming up, so I'd be curious to see how they fare against those teams. And so, hey, listen, got to give credit where credit's due. Dak played his ass off last night, looked great, and he is in the conversation for MVP. But so are some other players. Keyshawn Johnson's list was Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, and Brock Purdy. We've kind of been talking about Brock Purdy and that he might not even be the MVP front runner on his own team.
Which and you know what? You can finish that, but I disagree with that. But
I didn't say that everybody. We talked about Zach talked about that. Zach talked about
I will
McCaffrey
hand up. I'll say it again.
Yeah,
erroneous. Continue, Brad. I'm sorry.
Listen, they don't call him Big Cock Brock for nothing. I found it interesting that Lamar Jackson was number 2. I wouldn't say Lamar Jackson's number 2 in the MVP conversation. I still think Tyreek Hill belongs there, especially if he crosses over that 2,000 mark. But thoughts on his list? What would you change about it? Go.
All right. I think right now I'd actually probably give the edge to Brock Purdy. I'd do Brock at number 1 because of the fact I think that he gets knocked down. We talked about this last video, and actually a lot of people on the videos here were very against the fact that people weren't giving Brock enough respect. Zach. Yep, there you are. But Brock Purdy, all he's done is at the highest QBR. You can't teach anticipation. If you watch that game yesterday against the Seahawks, his improvisation, extending the play and making some absolute dimes down the field. He's second in touchdowns. I think I said he's first in QBR. He's on the best team in the NFC. Arguably, it's the best team in the NFL. If they win out, I think it's probably going to be that he's going to be playing very well. He probably has a good chance to win it. I will say with this, Dak Prescott, if they win those big games, could possibly jump it because Dak is going to have to play at an extremely high level to win out. I think that's fair to say. They got some really tough games, and Dak's going to have to be a big reason. And Lamar Jackson, if Lamar Jackson goes in and beats San Francisco like that, it does really feel like it's a 3-guy race. I think whichever one finishes, but I think Brock's going to get the nod for me if they go undefeated and finish out the season, because Brock Purdy's probably going to finish with going close to 40 touchdowns and being on the best team in the NFL. Zach, what do you think?
Tyreek Hill, number 1.
But even if Tyreek doesn't get to 2,000 yards, you're going to put him at number 1?
Well, he's going to get to 2,000 yards. So,
but if he doesn't,
that's not a question for me. That's not.
That is a question.
He's
So
going to get to 2,000 yards. So this is under the assumption. Let's go. Okay, this is under the assumption he gets to 2,000. Tyreek Hill's number 1. Christian McCaffrey's number 2. Dak Prescott's number 3.
No respect to Brock Purdy at all in that conversation.
No, he can be 4. He can be 5. He's still a top 5 MVP candidate. I'd put Lamar above him, but I just think with the weapons he has, yes, is he putting on an incredible show? Yes, is he doing everything he needs to do? But a Dak Prescott is having a more impressive season to me. A Lamar Jackson is having a more impressive season to me, even though I don't necessarily think Lamar's in the, like, I wouldn't put Lamar personally in the top 4 or 5. I think he and Purdy are in the very similar area of outside chances, but I don't see how Brock Purdy's the MVP.
That's what I'm
disagree
saying.
with
So
you.
like we're
Go ahead,
talking,
Brad.
we're talking the most valuable player on your team. If you take Tyreek Hill off the Dolphins, and what are they? They're not going to be 10-3 or 9-3 like they are right now. Take Christian McCaffrey off of the 49ers. We saw what happened when Debo and Christian McCaffrey were injured and what Brock Purdy kind of was. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy isn't deserving or he shouldn't be in the conversation, but there are better players out there that I feel like are more deserving of the award if we're talking about the most valuable player on their team.
I think Brock Purdy is what the 49ers need right now. And I think he is, you brought up the argument of he's got too many weapons around him, or, he's got so many weapons, but like football's a team game. The quarterback, their job is to get their good players the weapons. You can't knock a guy for having weapons and getting them the ball. Yeah. It's like, I think Brock Purdy's doing a very solid job with the Niners. I think here's the argument here then. Do you think Trey Lance would be in the same position? Do you think the 49ers would be in the same position if he was quarterback instead of Brock Purdy right now?
So here's the way I'll put it. I think if you were to lose either Brock Purdy from that team or Christian McCaffrey, you can put up a similar season, meaning they would be sitting around 8 to 10 wins with another quarterback. If Christian McCaffrey wasn't on this team, I'm not sure you could say the same.
Okay. I just want to make this point here real quickly because I do understand Tyreek Hill, what he's doing and how he's transformed and really helped. Mike McDaniel and Tyreek have really helped Tua, and that team is playing well. Now, the defense, the reason why they're winning more games recently, their defense is playing very well on top of it. But Jimmy Garoppolo being a quarterback, right? Jimmy Garoppolo had 1 year in San Francisco in 2019 where he threw 27 touchdown passes. That was his career high. Brock Purdy is at 25 touchdown passes with 4 or 5 games to go. So, and he only has 7 interceptions on the season. Jimmy threw 13. I know that interceptions aren't a big part of it, but Brock also is completing over 70% of his passes during this time frame. And I know you guys can say, well, it's easy completions, right? Jimmy Garoppolo has never had a season where he's thrown for over 70%. So I think Brock deserves a little bit more credit there. But yeah, if we're going to talk about if he went down and they had a valuable backup, the Niners could still stay afloat. It's not like if the Ravens. See, I don't agree with that.
Brandon, since I know you, you're an idiot. Brandon, he's an idiot.
Even though I do like Nathan Peterman.
We just listen. We pay Brandon no attention on this show.
What about Joe?
Idiot. It's my boy Brandon. He's an idiot.
What about? Well, I love that Joe. Well, Joe loves you, man.
I think Joe has a little man crush on me. He's not going to admit it, but you know what? Feelings mutual, Joe.
The feelings mutual.
About what? Did you have a man crush on Joe?
Yeah, Joe's a great guy.
Okay, there we go. We just want to clarify.
He hasn't sent me any Red Bulls, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right, Brad, to close it out. So you still think Tyreek would be your number one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can agree to disagree on it. I think that's the fun part of this, actually. But I do think if Tyreek doesn't get 2,000 yards, the MVP race will come down to Lamar, Dak, and Brock. And quite frankly, it will come down to their last schedule. Who plays the best over those last 4 or 5 games might come out with the MVP.